All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom. It is Brother Obadiah from New Wine Congregation. And first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh is the true name of who the world calls God. By Hashem just means in the name of. And Yahweh Shah is the true name of who the world calls Jesus Christ. And this lesson I'm going to get into tonight is breaking down Romans chapter 9 and verse 25 through 26. And what inspired me to make this video was, my cousin, right? He a so-called Christian. And, we had discussions about the Gentiles, who the Gentiles are, the Gentiles, can they get salvation and things like that. So he sent me this verse. I want to say sometime last week, he sent it to me. And I broke it down to him and sent it back to him. But I'm like, man, I might as well just make a video on this because you have a lot of people. They love saying they go in Paul letters. They love Romans. They love the book of Romans. And when they break down Romans 9 and 25 and 26, they think that it's talking about the heathens. They think it's talking about the other nations when it says, I will call them my people, which were not my people. That's what they hear it. And then they say, well, the heathens would never call his people, but now he's grafting them in. Now he's giving them an opportunity to be his people. And it said, and they go to verse 26 and says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall you be called the children of the living God. And they say, see, this is talking about the heathens. This is talking about the heathens, man. That's what a lot of them say. But you have to have understanding. You have to have understanding. See, a lot of our brothers and sisters that's in Christianity, they don't know nothing about the history. They don't know nothing about precept upon precept. They'll just read something and just go with it. Like they'll read something and they'll think it's saying something, but they don't know nothing about what happened prior to that. They don't know nothing about that. They just read something and be like, see, it said he gonna call the people that's not his people. He gonna call them his people. But they don't know nothing about the split between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. They don't know nothing about in the book of Hosea, which I'm gonna get into, how the northern kingdom was getting into idolatry, and the Lord basically said, Ephraim is joined to idols, leave him alone. Don't deal with them no more. They don't know nothing about that history. They jump straight to the New Testament. They jump straight to Paul letters. They think he talking about everybody. You don't do that with any other book. Any other book, you start from the beginning. But you want to get to the Bible and jump straight to the end of the book and start, jumping to Paul letters. When Peter literally tried to warn you and tell you that some of the things that Paul said are hard to be understood. A lot of people wrestle with Paul letters to their own destruction. And that's true, man. But let's get some understanding of this Romans 9 and 20. This is let me get Romans chapter 1. Let's get the context the context, the beginning of his epistle, because all these letters that's Paul writing are epistles. He writing to a specific group of people that's in these churches, in these places. Check this out. This Romans chapter 1 and verse 7 to show you who Paul writing his letter to. This Romans chapter 1 and verse 7. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God, our Father, and the Lord Yahweh Shai. So Paul said he's addressing this letter to Rome, to all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints. So he addressing his letter to the saints. Now, who are the saints according to the Bible? The Bible tells you who the saints are. You have a lot of Christians today say that the saints are the people that believe. The saints are any nation of people that believe in God and confess that he died for their sins. They'll say that's what a saint is. But that's not the definition according to the Bible. The Bible tells you who the saints are. Let me show you. This is why it's good to get who is Paul writing his letter to, because in his epistle, he always mentioned his letter to either the saints or he always mentioned his brethren. Who are his brethren? The Israelites. Those are his brethren. Let me show you. This Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So the saints are the people that made a covenant with God by sacrifice. Now, who the only people, the only nation of people that made a covenant with God by sacrifice? It's the Israelites. The Most High God that made no sacrifice with any other nation but Israel. So these are who the saints are. You can't just say you a saint. No, saints are the Israelites. And that's it. So Paul is addressing his letter to Israelites that's in Rome. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna get some more proof on that. He's right. These letters that's Paul addressing, I mean, the people that he's addressing in his letter are Israelites. These are Israelites. Let me prove that real quick, that these are Israelites. I'm gonna prove it even further when I keep going. It's Romans 12:2. I mean, 1 Corinthians 12:2. He said, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols, even as you were led. So Paul is talking to these Gentiles. He said, ye know that ye were Gentiles. So how can an actual Gentile not be a Gentile anymore? They naturally Gentiles. But it said ye were Gentiles, meaning that these people that he's talking to were Gentiles, but they're not Gentiles anymore. And we know that's impossible for a heathen, because they always going to be Gentiles. This is talking about Israelites. The Israelites were in a Gentile state of mind. You had to understand the history even during the time of the Greeks, during the time of the Maccabees. You know, they got, our people was deep into the Greek customs, and you had Northern Kingdom deep into idolatry. That's why I said you were carried away into these dumb idols. So this is talking about Israelites that was in a Gentile state of mind. I'm gonna use a perfect example. We used to be Gentiles. We used to celebrate Christmas. We used to celebrate Easter. We used to celebrate Valentine's Day. We used to break the Sabbath day. We used to smoke weed. We were the Most High God would call us Gentiles, because we was in a Gentile state of mind, right? We was living as the heathen. So he looked at us as heathens. That's why he said ye were Gentiles, meaning you were Gentiles, but you're not anymore, because you repented and came back to these commandments, right? You put away your sins, and you came back to your God. You're not a Gentile anymore. But a heathen is going to always be a Gentile. This is how you know this is not talking about the heathens. This is talking about the Israelites. And I'm gonna prove this even more. Check this out. This 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren. So who is Paul brethren? Let me get that first. Who is Paul's brethren according to the Bible? Is anybody his brethren? You got to understand. Paul was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. So who is his brothers? Wouldn't the Israelites be his brothers if he was an Israelite? This Romans 9:3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. So Paul's brethren are the Israelites. Those are his brothers, man. So when you go back to when he always mentioned his brethren in his letters, he's talking about Israelites. He was very specific in Romans 9. This 1 Corinthians 10 and 1. It says, moreover, brethren, thou would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers, so he's the people that he's talking to, they got the same forefathers as him. They kin to him. He said all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and they all eat the same spiritual food. So who was with Moses in the wilderness? Who was under that cloud? The Israelites. It's talking about during the time of Exodus when they was under the cloud. This is talking about Israel, man. Let me show you that. He's speaking to the Israelites. He said all our fathers were under the cloud. Everybody wasn't under the cloud. Exodus 40 and verse 36. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. So the Israelites were under the cloud. So he was making a reference to that time in Exodus when our forefathers were under the clouds. But he's talking to the so-called Gentiles. So if he was talking about if he was talking to actual bloodline Gentiles, they wouldn't know what he was talking about. Because they wasn't under their forefathers was not under the clouds. But Paul, he's making a comparison to when he said our forefathers, meaning the Israelites that come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. And we know we passed through the sea. He parted the Red Sea. We passed through the sea. And we're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Right? So this is talking about the Israelites. Paul's letters, he's talking to Israel. And I'm going to go back to Romans 9. And I'm going to prove that even more. This Romans 9 and verse 25 through 26. I'm going to read it. I'm going to break it down. As he said also in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall you be called the children of the living God. So like I said, Christians just read this and be like, well, just it's talking about the heathens because Israel was called his people, but the heathens was never called his people. So now the Most High God is saying that the heathens are going to be called his people. That's what they say. But first, we gotta break this thing down. He said, as he said also in OC. OC is Hosea. So he's saying, as he said, basically, as he said in the book of Hosea. Let me prove you that. Let me prove that's Hosea. Let me prove that. Hold up. See that? It's talking about Hosea. It's talking about Hosea. So when it said, as he said in OC, that is talking about Hosea. So he's quoting the book of Hosea. As he said also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not my beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall you be called the children of the living God. So now we have to figure out, where was this said in Hosea? You go to Hosea, and Hosea tells you who he's talking to. It's Hosea 1 and 10. He's quoting Hosea 1 and 10. This Hosea, see, chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. It's the same thing in Romans chapter 9 and verse 25 through 26. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. That's going into the split of the kingdoms. It was going into how our brothers and sisters were so deep into idolatry. That's why let me show you. That's why 1 Corinthians 12 and 2 said, ye were Gentiles carried away into dumb idols, because our people drifted so far, chiefly Northern Kingdom, they drifted so far into idolatry that the Lord said, hey, leave them alone. Don't even deal with them no more. So now the Lord is saying, okay, now we're going to graft them back in. Right? Because I wasn't dealing with them no more. I said I was going to leave them alone, meaning I don't want no parts of them. But now I'm going to graft them back in. This is who the grafting in is for. It's not talking about the heathen. I'm going to show you. It's Hosea 4 and 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. So let him alone, meaning leave him alone. Stop messing with him. Stop dealing with him. Let him do what he do. So that's why Romans 9 said what it said. So let me read Hosea again. I'm gonna read Romans 9. It's saying the same thing because he quoted from this and he's speaking to the Israelites. It's Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, though he said, you are not my people, the same thing in Romans 9, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. They shall come out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So it's going into how Israel and Judah is not going to be no more splits. We're going to be one. Right? It ain't gonna be no more northern kingdom, southern kingdom. We're gonna be the Israelites. Ain't gonna be no more split. So let's get Romans 9. Same thing, talking about Israelites. Romans 9 and 25 to 26. And he said also in OC or Hosea, I will call them my people which were not my people, and her beloved which was not my beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Speaking of Israel. This is talking about Israel. Hold on, let me get another precept. I'm gonna close out. It's simple, man. You gotta read, study. The Bible, it'll tell you who was talking to. It's Romans chapter 11 and verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. That's what a lot of people like to say. The heathens, any nation can be grafted into Israel. For God is able to graft them in again. So it said the Lord is going to graft them in again. But when was the other nations ever grafted in with Israel? When was the heathens ever grafted in? It's not talking about them. It's not talking about them. It's talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. How the northern kingdom going to be grafted in because they were so drifted off into idolatry. It's not talking about the heathens or anybody that believe. It's talking about the Israelites. Because he said they're going to be grafted in again. And the heathens was never grafted in. They was never under the covenant with Israel. Right? Their forefathers and foremothers was not given a covenant. We was. We was always in there. But we drifted off. And the Lord stopped. The Lord turned his eye from us, man. He said, I'm done with them. But now he's grafting us in again to the fold. So Lord, when it's edifying the brothers and sisters, man, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. I say Shalom and Kwam Yasharallah.